Amazing. So welcome back. For this video, we are going to be covering the tools, the main tools you're going to have access to. Really, there's two main ones we're going to focus on with their like different uses. So clearly I already have a project already imported. This is a trailer I edited for Dune for some of my other classes where they have to make a trailer for a movie, but it's supposed to be like a different genre. It was just a piece of media I had that I could use to show you how to use some of these tools. So the selection tool, its main purpose is moving footage. So if I click on it in my timeline, I can move it around. I can also drag and drop other pieces of footage in and put it in different locations as well. This allows you to pick the order. Got to do boxing, people lifting weights, and then Dune. This allows you to pick the order of your videos, your audios, any pictures you put in. You can place them in different locations. On top of that, the selection tool is helpful for trimming. So if I have, let's say I have this piece of footage right here, but I don't want the ending or I don't want the beginning. Notice how when my cursor, which looks like a regular pointer right now, when I hover at the beginning of a piece of footage or at the end of a piece of footage, it becomes this like red logo or this red cursor with sort of like a bracket from math. If I were to click like this, I can trim off the beginning, and I actually can tell that I've trimmed off some, because if you look, let me zoom in so you can kind of see a little bit. If you look at the end, see how there's this triangle right here, and there's no triangle here? That's because it's no longer the beginning of the clip. So if I extend all the way out, see how I have that triangle there now, because it's the true beginning of the clip. But if I were to trim anything off, you lose that triangle. That's important for using transitions, which we're going to cover in a different video later. But the selection tool allows you to trim. It's also going to be the main tool you use typically when you're like scrubbing through your timeline and moving your playhead around. That's very important. So the next tool down, it's the track select forward and track select backward tool. Basically, if you have a bunch of stuff in one track, and tracks being the like V1, V2, V3, which is video 1, 2, and 3, and then A1, A2, A3, audio 1, 2, and 3. Basically allows you to select everything in a track and also the media associated with it. So if I'm selecting the video, I'm also going to be selecting the audios associated with it. The ripple edit tool, this is a really cool tool. So what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to sort of break some of my media, and I'm going to do what I said don't do in the first video and just like put some footage on top of other footage. So now we have part of the Dune trailer, and it's going to randomly cut to this other piece of footage. So like let's watch. Ready? So
I've been having dreams.
Amazing. He's been having dreams.
I want you to know.
Teen rom-com.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate.
A different video of speech from Coach Carter that we edited with some B-roll. So you'll notice that this is the edit point. So you have this moment with him, and then it cuts to a black screen as this fades in. Cool. We love that. If I click on the ripple edit tool, and it's ripple to start and not rolling, if I move this way, you'll notice that I no longer get that black screen. What I'm actually doing, let me undo just so you can see.
Our deepest fear is not that we are.
I'm cutting away parts of footage on the second clip, but I'm not moving the point in which the edit happens. So let's say I want to trim to right here where this guy's leaning against the post, but I want it to start at the same point that this video. So like if you look right here, it's at 141. I want it to start there without having to like use the selection tool, trim away, and then shift it back. This is one way to do it really quickly. I trim to that moment, and then it pushes everything back. And what we can do is I can show you what it looks like in the timeline. Like if I undo that, you'll see how it's longer, but if I redo it, it recuts it. So now if I were to watch, when we hit that like 140 mark, it's gonna cut to the guy leaning against the post as opposed to the black screen. Ready?
I want you to know.
We are powerful beyond measure.
Boom. See? And the audio doesn't make sense because I'm not trying to make it make sense. But I'll undo all of that just so we're back to square one. The other tools here, the rolling edit tool, does something very similar, but instead of not affecting the edit point for one of the clips, you'll see. So if I hard click and then I click on rolling edit tool, if I shift this one way or the other, you'll notice that the edit point does change. And basically, it's one way to trim, but to add footage from the other clip still, as opposed to not adding footage. So honestly, don't stress about these too much. The rate stretch tool allows you to change how fast something is, so you can make it go in slow motion. So if you make it shorter, because the clip is shorter, you're gonna notice that the speed is a little different. So let's deal with, I'm gonna delete all this really quick and we'll do just the Coach Carter clip. So I'm not gonna change the sequence settings just because I don't feel like dealing with that right now. So here's my Coach Carter clip. If I were to hard click on this to pull up the rate stretch tool and then shorten it, hold on, and then shorten it, you'll notice it's faster. If I were to lengthen it, you'll notice that's very long compared to what it was before. Now you're gonna hear it'll sound deeper because it's all slowed down. Ready? You can't even hear it. That's how slow it is. Anyway, that is the rate stretch tool. Those tools, those four that I've covered, honestly are not the like important ones that I want to make sure we get to. The main one, first of all, being the selection tool, and then after that I want to cover the razor tool. The razor tool is very important because what this allows you to do is, first of all, I can make cuts on any point in my edit. See, cut, and what this is doing is it's making these all individual pieces of footage that I can move around and put in different order and mess with and blah, 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 and put them in the wrong order in my timeline. What is nice about this is if you pair the razor tool with your playhead, so if you put your playhead and you want this moment where he says he's having dreams and it cuts to this blurred like picture of Zendaya, what I can do is I can zoom in really close just to show you as well. But if I hover my my razor tool right over my playhead, you'll notice how it like locks on to the playhead. See how there's this blue line right here, and the closer I get, it'll eventually snap on. Oops, didn't mean to click. It'll eventually snap on to the playhead. See how it's like now white there? That means you're cutting right at the playhead. So you can use the playhead to make very, very, very precise cuts, along with the arrow keys, like I said in the last video, and zooming in. But this allows you to cut a video in half into multiple parts, allowing you to shift some stuff around if you'd like to. Very helpful. The slip tool allows you to put footage in between footage. The pen tool allows you to add markers, and I could cover that. Rectangle tool. The Premiere Pro recently got rid of these things called legacy titles, but the rectangle tool effectively allows you to draw rectangles or different shapes, and then all of that information appears in the effect controls for like the color of the inside, which would be the fill. The outside color, which is the like trim, is called the stroke. Think like a brush stroke. So the color of the outside of it currently is turned off, but you can turn it on and see how it makes it white. You can add shadows. You can do a bunch of stuff. You can also use the selection tool to put it on different parts of your screen or to change the size if you'd like to. But that is the rectangle tool, which you can use that for making like black screens or different title sequences or graphics or whatever. But you'll notice that when I draw it, when I draw it, it appears on my timeline, and I can put that rectangle anywhere on my timeline, or I can make it last the entire time. So now this rectangle exists even past my footage. It still exists on top of this blank screen, just a rectangle. The same thing goes for the text tool, which is one under the hand tool, which we don't really need to cover. But if I click on the screen, you'll notice it gives you the option to type. So if I just type hello, same thing. If I go to my effect controls, there's a little drop down. This allows you to change the font. You can center justify it, left justify it, all of that jazz. You can bold it. You can change the color of the font again with the fill. Once again, you can change the brush stroke of the font. You can add a background color. You can add shadow. You can do a bunch of stuff. And same thing with this one. If I click on my selection tool, I can place this text wherever I'd like. I can also change its size. And then if you'll notice, once again, once I add the text, that appears in my timeline as something I can move around. So I can put it at any point, and when my playhead gets to that point, it appears. Those are the main tools that we're going to focus on. The other little section that I want to make sure that you guys see is this linked selection and the snap in timeline selection are very important. So when the linked selection is not selected, see how it's gray right now? It means it's not selected. That means if a video has audio, I can select only the video or only the audio. So really quick, I will have it on. When I click on the this Dune edit, you'll notice that both things get highlighted. The video and the audio both get highlighted. But if I were to unselect them and then click on the linked selection and turn it off, if I click on the video, you'll notice only the video is now highlighted. That's even represented in my effect controls, where I no longer get the audio options for the effects. And vice versa, if I click on only the audio, now I get only the audio effects, including panner and channel volume and all of that jazz. So this is one important thing. The other important thing is if you actually have it turned off and I shift my video, you'll notice that you get these red numbers, this one like -02, -15. That means that the video, the original video, and the audio associated with that video are now about a minute off skewed from each other. This is one way to tell that if you like accidentally move a video, but you forget to move the audio, it indicates that for you. If you'd like, I can shift it back though, and it fixes it. Just be aware whether or not this is selected. The last thing that I want to cover in this little tools tip video is the snap in timeline. So if it is selected, which it is currently, it's blue, which means it's selected. So when I drop this Coach Carter video on, if I were to move it slowly over, you'll notice that eventually it see how it jumps? I'm moving very slowly. It jumps to attach to that previous clip. It jumps to attach to this Dune trailer. That's because the magnet is on. So what the magnet does is it assumes you would like videos to directly follow each other and things to basically touch. If you don't want that, if you would like to leave blank space, you can leave the magnet on and place your playhead somewhere, and it's going to auto to jump to your playhead first, and now we've left a little blank space there. Or if you'd like, what you can do is you can click on the snap in timeline, and this allows you to, without the magnet taking over, place it wherever you would like. I most of the time in editing with the snap in tool on, and then we'll turn it off for very specific moments. If I need a video to start at exactly this frame, at exactly this moment, and I don't want it to jump to anything. Most of the time I'm editing with linked selection and the magnet tool both selected, and then I will turn them off when I don't need them. So let's say I want just the audio from a clip. I can click on the video, and I can actually just delete the video. So now if I press play, you can hear the video. Same thing with the Coach Carter. If I delete the video and then hover over, I can hear it, I can see it. And if I were to go the other way, I can click and delete the audio, and I can just see the video. That was a lot of convoluted explanation, but basically you can delete and control things individually using the linked selection tool. Those are just the tools that I wanted to cover in the tooltip video. If you have any questions, please ask. about a little bit more detail, that's fine. But in general, these are the basics of the tools that are going to be sort of like necessary for beginning editing. So yeah, thank you. That's it for today.